A weekly meeting here at Solutions 8. It's every Friday. We call it the all hands meeting. Everybody on our team jumps on Google Meet and we do a powwow and, present as to what's going on, what we anticipate seeing in the future. And my business partner, John Moran, smartest Google guy in the whole wide world, today during his presentation said that Performance Max is the future, which was a little scary because we've seen mixed results with Performance Max. But he's been working directly with Google, two Google teams actually, on how Performance Max functions, why it steals from certain campaigns, where it belongs, what it does, what it doesn't do, etc. And he's come up with a really awesome strategy that he's actually going to shoot a separate video on. So we're going to give you the nitty-gritty and the specifics. What I'd like to show you here, though, is an image that Google shared with us that's going to help us understand a little bit more about how Performance Max functions in conjunction with other campaigns, because at first glance, it feels very greedy. It just comes in and steals everything. And so here's what Google gave us. It's super cool. What this shows you is when two campaigns are being run, a Performance Max campaign against another campaign type, which campaign is going to win. Now, this is assuming that they're going after the same audience, right? There's overlap. So product, geo, etc., as saith Google's little caveat here. And in a search campaign with exact match, the search campaign wins, which makes sense. For as long as we continue to have exact match, which the rumor mill saith that might be going away. So we'll see. Search campaign with broad phrase, and it's interesting that they still have BMM here. The campaign with the higher ad rank wins. And this is interesting because I wonder how much the campaign type is going to impact the ad rank, because, what you're bidding, and I won't get speculative. We'll stick to the chart. And then against smart shopping and dynamic remarketing, Performance Max wins. It's really interesting to me that Performance Max is beating smart shopping. And then YouTube in-stream and discovery campaign with higher ad rank will win. So what this will do is it's going to give you the ability to kind of see where Performance Max is going to be the bulldog and where your other campaigns have the capability of taking over. What we're going to ultimately use Performance Max for is, I like to think about it. There's an analogy that I think it comes from Stephen Covey's 7 Habits, but he talks about how you prioritize life. And there was a professor that came to his students and he put a big jar on the table, and he had great big rocks and little rocks and then sand, and each of these things represented that which is most important to that which is least important. So the great big rock is the most important thing, and then the little rock is important but not as important, and the sand is like the minutia. And I'm gonna mess this up. If you start with the sand, you can't fit all the rocks. But if you start with the big rocks, and he demonstrates this, and I'm sure there's a video on YouTube you can go track down. You do the big rocks, and then you do the little rocks, and then you do the sand. The sand fills in all the gaps, and you can fit everything inside of this jar. And it was a metaphor for life. Make sure you put your big things in first, and you plan for those first, and prioritize those first, and then the things that are a little bit smaller, and then the junk. And it's not junk. That's the other thing, is you don't want to do junk. You actually don't want to plan for and prioritize junk, but the things that are just not as important. That analogy, I think, is aptly applied to the way that we see Performance Max working long term. You have your great big rocks, and you can prioritize those. And even if Google says, hey, Performance Max is going to be prioritized here, you can prioritize those with specific settings, right? It's like adjusting TROAS or TCPA or whatever. There's a bunch of different ways, and John's going to get into the specifics of that. But set your rocks first. And the things that are most important to you, and then use Performance Max to fill in the gaps. Now, interestingly, you may find that Performance Max, that the gaps produce potentially the more valuable prospects, because those are the prospects that are difficult to target directly. If you're going after specific search terms, for instance, what Google's doing is they're expanding our advertising capabilities beyond the explicit. So the explicitly stated interest, and giving us pre-intent, which there's got to be a word for that. Predictive intent, prognosticative intent. I'll think of it. But if we look at Performance Max through that lens, I think it's going to be really exciting what it can do. And some of the performance that we're going to see out of these campaigns. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I hope this video was helpful. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up. That lets YouTube know we actually know what we're doing. We shoot a video every single day. So if you want to be notified, hit that subscribe button. And if you have any input, don't hesitate to hit us up in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. We get very little human interaction. Thanks for supporting our channel, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow.